Big fan of old vehicles, Clive. He's got a lovely old Morris commercial as well. Now, I like to see lorries in the working clothes. I don't like to see people leaving. It's beautiful. That's how it would be. Oh. Now, what about this? Hey, it went down a tree last night. It did. Beautiful. You know, we're all talking about the influence that the Second World War had on the vehicle world. Isn't that lovely? AEC, the Associated Equipment Company from down south. This is a purpose-built grain lorry. It's unbelievable. Bless you, Adrian. That is beautiful. Again, mentioned Bedford. We're going back now to the OC running when it's ticking over. There's something wrong with it. Absolutely beautiful. And the whine on the gearbox when they pop away. Fabulous motor. Bless you, Brian. That cost you £5, Brian. Just look at that. Well, ERF. God bless you. Just listen to that. Absolutely beautiful. That was the C-Series. This is the earlier B-Series. Quite an unusual motor. You notice it's been adapted. It's carrying a fifth wheel on the back for towing Annesley Woodhouse. And it's still available for weddings, and if you want to hire it, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. God bless you, young man. This is the most that you would have seen, or this model would have seen on the tip. Oh, you remember the old film? It was one of those. This is a beauty. Go and have a good look at it. It is fabulous. God bless you, young man. And that's going to cost you. That's going to cost you. Go on. Again from the Valance family. Graham is a big lover of the Morris Commercial PV. PV standing for panel van. And these were the forerunner to the transit sort of thing. Little less than a ton in weight, but you could get these with a well, I mentioned Comma earlier, didn't I? Comma I mentioned with the Lions van in the arena. Well, this is a Comma, and they certainly did break the mold when there used to be a bang. Flames come out of the exhaust, it'd decoke itself, but they would shift. They didn't half shift. Cracking little motor. A lot of people love them. This is a Comma. They later decided to put Perkins engines in them, but it didn't do them any favours. They always got to have the Roots engine in to be any good. How you doing, young man? Well, Ford never really got into heavy stuff at any note towards the end of the days, but wouldn't that look stupid with chrome all over it? It's absolutely fabulous. Bless you, young man. Just look at that. There you are, look, there's the big spade at the back. And see the big winch? And the tips you can see, they dig into the ground, he drops it down, and when he's spot on, always a lot of banter going in here. The young man in the passenger side, he's got his own little vehicle, you'll see that later. But again, we've been blessed by AEC to these vehicles for the military. Not with ambulance bodies on, but mostly with a tilt frame body on for ammunition or troop carrying or all sorts of things, you name them. But after the war, they were fantastic again for timber and breakdown lorries. Look at this one. It will go anywhere, that one. I'm hoping he ain't going to do anything else to it. Diesel engine, some had the bigger one in it, but that is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Just don't do a thing to it. Lovely. I've saved you a load of work and money there, Paul. Get out. Has it? Oh, I wouldn't like it. He said he's got a nice speed diff in it. He'll do 45 mile an hour. He'll know he's doing 45 mile an hour in that and all. And again, another one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just listen to the sound of that. Well, we never used to see, and still don't see, many American lorries in this country. You heard me talk about cabovers earlier. Well, this is an American Mike, a cabover as they would call it. Because a lot of the American lorries, if you remember, have got damn great long bonnets on it. The Peterbilts, the Whites, the Kenworths, you name it. The law in America is different to what it is in the UK. The law in the UK depicts the length of the vehicle is from the front bumper of the lorry to the back of the trailer. In America, it's not. It's from the headboard of the trailer to the back of the trailer. So it doesn't matter how long the bonnet is. In Britain, if you put 6 foot of bonnet on the front, in these, 6LK, 6LW usually in them days. Notice the heavy weights on the front. Although it doesn't have front wheel drive, it's still to give it that little bit extra. Fabulous thing, again built for tank transporting, all that sort of thing. The Explorer, a bit more powerful, a bit more traction with the front wheel drive on it as well, but these are quite rare. A lot of people nickname them the coffee pot because of the size of the top of the radiator house in there. But what a lovely thing that is. You don't see many of them. Chuffed to bits to have one here today. Thank you very much, young man. God bless you. And one thing that I want you all to remember, that everybody seemed to think that Diamond T, the one that the Americans use, was an American lorry. It wasn't. The Diamond T was built in America, but it's a British design. Is the Diamond T, but never a patch on these things. God bless you, young man. Well, what a collection. Put your hands together, folks. A wonderful crowd, a wonderful bunch of people, and just think of the time and effort. And nowadays, the cost of running one of these things. Unbelievable. God bless you, and thanks, Mark. Wonderful job.
Here we go now, hold on to your bar, press your pedal to skip the car. Let's go, the what machine speaker.
Beautiful. I want to see, well, not be long before he's driving it. No, he won't. Well done, mate. I bought the wife a tractor. Oh dear, here we are again, look. You notice we mentioned the big roadless tractor that came through earlier on, the Ford, well, similar idea, not quite as big. This is enough room with a BMC engine in it, 4-wheel drive, but this is only a 3-cylinder diesel tractor. It's been a multitude of colours at some time or other. 4-cylinder diesel, E1A, very, very popular tractor. I'll tell you, one of the best I drove, and they are a dream to drive. They're a lovely tractor. Very nice, young man. Back to the 35. You know, a lot of these guys, they've worked with tractors all their life, and when they get to that age where you can relax a little bit, you have one, and it becomes more like a sports car than a tractor. They haven't seen them out on the lawn and on the drive. Big thing with Nuffields, you sometimes put the injector pipes on the opposite side. This is it. 4-cylinder diesel. Is it yours? Have you nicked it? It's him over there. The other Nuffield. We'll have him. Will you come far this weekend? There's a lot of companies, Ford, Iveco, Fiat, all went in together and eventually came out with this New Holland. He set off from Spondon 3 weeks last Friday and he's just about made it. He came from Scunthorpe. There we have another little Fergie. If all the miniature steam engines have come up, you can start all the stock cars have come up, guys. You can start and take the tractors out if you want. I'll leave you a spare bonnet for one of these. And I told her if she went to sleep last night, it might be missing in the morning. This is a David Brown 990 diplomatic. I've got some work to do on an 880 for somebody. Here we are. Now. This is one of the industrial ones, the dark blue ones I told you about. Totally original. 1930. 1937. It's fabulous. Right. Case. Another American company. Case also. Brown 2D. Believe it or not, you don't see many at shows. We've actually got two this weekend, and this is what we would call a row crop vehicle. A lot were built like standard tractors with a bonnet on in a lot of areas, but these were built purely for small farms, market gardens, and you can see the plough and the disc in front, and he could lower it down from where he's sitting, and he could watch exactly what he's doing. On some of them, you can take this bracket here, you can drop the plough off, and you can put cultivators on, you can put all sorts of things on them. The only problem with them was, the reason why they weren't very popular, was can you imagine on a dry day where all the dust's going to go? So he's going to be absolutely covered in it. Not many about. Beautiful little tractor. I say David Brown built up in Huddersfield and restored and painted by the young man himself. Well done, young man. Lovely little tractor. Who's Bob? He gave it to you. Oh, that's great. That's fabulous. Is he still around? Good. Well, thanks, Bob. You've done us all a favour with that. Brilliant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to attempt to get all these out, and I've seen we've got something a bit special behind you, and I'm going to be having a breather in a minute because I'm going to be passing this over to someone else who's going to tell you all about stock cars. Because I remember many years ago I used to be an absolute fanatic on stock cars. I used to go down to Great Yarmouth a lot, and a lot of this started down in the east of England because a lot of the military bases down there, the American military bases, there was an abundance of V8 engines and things like that. It was a very big sport in America, so a lot of the GIs and people like that like to build these things. But I'm not going to say too much.
John Lewis car. And finally bringing in the rear is Colin Moss in what they call a Formula 8, which was a Formula that started down south. They're going to just do a few quick demonstration laps, or they're not. They're going to just do a wave to the crowd. Been restored. We'll start at the Formula 2 end. So we have, these are the Formula 2 cars, and I'll just hand you over to the driver to have a little chat. So what's the basic build of the car?
It's a Heritage Formula
2, first of the Formula 1s, as I said earlier, a gold roof on it which denotes a world champion. So George Ansell won the world championship in this I'm sure it was 1967, but I'm sure Darren will, he's nodding his head, so I got that right. So if you could just give us a quick rundown on the car then, Darren?
Yes, the replica we built in 2017 under George's car when he won the world championship in 1967. He raced from 59 to 76 when he retired, had 269 wins over his career, 54 of them were finals, which is a longer race.
After Webb bought it, that's why it changed all the colours. They Spider-Man on the back, and then 6-7 years ago I bought it, and I race it all the time, even at the age of 79.
Well, there you go, he's not 79 and he's still doing that.
Wait to the car, to the right, stop, please. Wait to the car, up to the right, that's up.
Goodness me, we've got all the team today then. Right. Shirley B, just tell us a little bit about Shirley B, please.
Small is possible,
J&H McLaren. Just tell us a bit about J&H McLaren then, please.
McLaren were an engine firm from Leeds, and this particular example is a big road loco.
TT Team Tricklebank. Numbered M21. Right, what sort of engine is this then?
4.5 inch blade.
A Bull, I take it this one's a road locomotive.
It is, that's right, yes. Just finished it last year, first year out.
Your first year out, you've stuck to it well, have you?
It's not too bad, yeah.
Good to see the young ones having a go. Now this looks a little bit different, let's find out about this. Just tell us a bit about this then, please.
This one's a converted mobility scooter.
Converted mobility scooter. What gave you the idea to do that then?
I saw them at a rally in Norfolk.
Now this is a Diddy one. This is Charlie Johnson from Colville. Harry Deering now, Grindleford, up there in the Peak District. Just tell us about this then, Harry, please. All the way from Kingsland, Norfolk, Roger Vanny. Tell us about this, Roger.
This is a 6-inch scale model of an estate tractor that was used on the big estates like Sandringham and Chatsworth House. Just pulling anything, really.
Right, so... Right, now we've got a M25 in your programme. Maybe we will. Just tell us a little bit about Maybe, please.
It's in respect of me late mother-in-law.
Right, well that's very good.
Oh yeah.
M10 is a Foster. And your name?
Oh, right.
Right, Mal, where do you come from?
Not Mowbray.
Oh, you're not far away then. Right, so just tell us a little bit about this fella. Can you organise that then, Paul? Yeah, just give us a lap round and then we'll get ready for the big steamers. Very good. Council. It's had a number of owners in preservation. It was an early rally attendance event round here when it was owned by a gentleman called Jack Hardy from Leeds, near Leeds. Marshall Steamroller, Fred Dockeray owns this one from Long One. Nick's driving it for us this weekend. This one was the first one to be fitted with Marshall's
patent radial valve gear, 76116 is the maker's number. It worked in the Bath area, Bath and West area for a firm called Ernest Island. Came into preservation with a Mr. Claypole Smith from Berkhamsted. And as I say, it's now owned by a friend operator from Long. David Sue Cope with their Fowler Tiger tractor. This one worked for Oliver Parkinson, who were paper makers in Glossop in Derbyshire. It would haul the timber. This was one of about 3 engines that were owned by Oliver Parkinson, and they would haul the timber from the station there to the mill. Then the pulp paper would come back on a return trip to the station to be transported all over the country. This one's been with David Sue Cope since 1980. Oh dear. Right, we've got the Sackmore family from Belton with their Adrian and Porter Steam Rally number 9027. This one worked for Northamptonshire Council from their Desborough depot, which is just down the A6 from Market Harbour. It was rescued from preservation by one of our very earliest preservationists from Market Harbour, Tom Burt. It was been more recently owned by Neil Barnes and came to the Sackwell family from Belton near Loughborough late last year. All on as a kit apart. In 1996 Robert acquired that kit apart and rebuilt it into what we see today, which is a very nice Fowler steam tractor. That's Robert Tyler from Watton in the Vale. Steamroller, owned by the Hallam family from Draycott in the Clay. This one went new to a well-known contracting firm from Wistats and Crewe, Sam Jackson. Then it later moved on to FHM, who were contractors from Newcastle under Lyme. It was acquired by the late David Hallam in the 1960s from a scrapyard at Little Stoke, which is the name what the engine carries. David got it up and running in the sort of mid to late 1960s, had a few years of running it, and then it was laid up for about 40 years. And we're pleased to see that it's back out once again after 1 or 2 little jobs needed doing to it, but that's the Fowler Steamroller. Now we have Brian Boucher from Westwood, Nottinghamshire, with an Evelyn and Porter Steamroller. This is an ex-Edison machine, a Dorchester in Dorset. The last workers of this particular machine were Gleasons of Sheffield. Ah, that's right, I can't see. Hey, what? You can't. I don't know, I think these people have got it in for me today. That's John Carr here with his 8-bit roller almost. Ah, that's right, yeah. Ah, that's it, yeah. So that's Brian Boucher's Evelyn. We've got one that's gone round the middle here, just behind me, John Carr. There's always someone that does something different. And that's the Evelyn roller with the MD registration, owned by John Carr from Sheffield. This one went new to Tottenham Council. It later moved up into South Yorkshire with Joshua Rogers. It was actually owned by John Carr in 1964 for a few years. He sold it on to Peter Wood of Derby, resided at Teddy Boston's premises at KB near Market Wadsworth for many years, and John had the good fortune to purchase it back once again off Peter Wood. Right, coming round to the commentary. It's owned by the Maris family from Renishaw near Sheffield. This one was actually new to the War Department. It was acquired by Cuthberts, who were the last commercial workers of steam engines in Sheffield. Once the Cuthberts had passed away, this one was actually sold at Cuthbert's sale in 1984, and it commanded a price of just over £22,000 when it was sold in 1984. That's Empress. And Dave tells me now that it's the daughters that have got the engine, and it's good to see everybody. Yeah, you're all for, yeah. Well done. And following on behind Empress, we have Belle of the Walls. We always knew this as Belle of the Walls, although it had a name change a few years back. 15462, the maker's number. This one's owned by Aaron and Arthur Henton from Norton Jux to Twycross. This one went new to Packers by Alma Fleer from Curtin Lindsay in Lincolnshire. Stuart's driving it for us this weekend. This one went new to Lord Rayleigh's estates in Essex. It was acquired by Dr. Coombs in Bedfordshire, and then it passed to the late Ephraim Fleer from Lincolnshire. You'll notice that it's got a big drum underneath the boiler that was used for ploughing, pulling ploughs across the fields. These engines worked in pairs, but possibly at some point later on this afternoon we'll give you a demonstration of winching with the engines. But that's one of two ploughing engines here this weekend. Well, there's three actually, but that's... Oh, we have the other one coming round now. That's Alma Fleer owns two ploughing engines. That's the big Fowler here, the Lord Rayleigh's estates one, and then we have another one approaching the commentary point. All right, John, you can laugh. Who's that? Jacob up there? Has Jacob been promoted from miniatures? Oh yeah, Grunt type ploughing engine. Just to tell you, we've got Sparky on the Fowler ploughing engine here. This is one that went new to wards of Carrington Grange, and it was actually retired about 1947, so that's the big Fowler ploughing engine that Sparky's driving for us. Familiar figure at the rallies in the East Midlands for many years. I've been told to ask John Carr, who's on my table in roller, if he's got a hole in his bucket. I don't know whether he can hear me, but... Right, we've got Malcolm Pugh now with his, well, it's what's a two-speed. Yeah, nice to see you in the freight today, Malcolm. Well, I think we had a bit of a problem yesterday with the Evelyn roller. This one went out there. Returned to this country some years back. Owned by Ian Lander from Shepshed. It was a single speed machine, but Malk's had another gear made for it to make it two speed, and that's certainly speeded the job up. So that's Malcolm Pugh from Leicester with his Evelyn and Porter steamroller. gentlemen, that we've got an excellent lineup of road steamers. This is just the first parade. We've got the other parade to come about 3 o'clock time. So let's give all these people that bought these engines a round of applause for bringing their engines to Elvaston Steam 2023. Well done, gents. Now, I think, you know, I'm glad I survived that so far. I dread getting run over by a steamroller, you know. They've tried for years to run me over. I think if I got run over by a steamroller, I'd finish up in Ward 4, 5, 6 and 7 of the hospital at Sheffield. And it's always nice to see the ladies having a go. And that's just what they're doing with this big engine Empress. Now when this ploughing engine actually works, when it does the pulling, you'll notice there's a distinct sound to it of a single cylinder engine.
You'll know what I'm talking about. Just be careful, it's very slippy. litre engine. Very, very nice motor car. This was the Series 1. Very rare to see an estate car. Behind it, YRA. It's a Derbyshire registration. And it's a Ford Anglia. The 100E Ford Anglia came out in the late 50s to replace the sit-up and beg, the old 103E, popular. They always tell the Anglia, 2 doors, and 3 horizontal bars on the rad. The prefected 4 doors, vertical slats in the rad, and the popular was a 2-door checkered grille. So you could always tell them, but they're a lovely car, just under 1,000cc, and we all loved them. They were a change, they were a go, and the American look, and it worked quite well. Coming behind, a very flashy thing, is a Mercedes G-Wagon. Not many of them about, but they were a lot in the forces. Very, very expensive motor car for what they were, competing very much with Land Rover, Range Rover, that sort of thing. I think, to be honest with you, a little bit more upmarket in the time. The lovely G-Wagon. The Humber Motor Company, you want to see behind the G-Wagon. The Humber Motor Car Company started at Beeston, Nottingham, building pedal cycles, push bikes, and developed to produce beautiful cars. The Humber Hawk, the Humber Super Snipe, they made quite a lot. These were your doctors, your MP's cars of the 50s and 60s. Very big straight 6-cylinder petrol engine, a very big car, around just over 1.5 tons, very thirsty on juice, previously owned by McCheatham, but recently changed hands, and believe it or not, here's Mick coming into the side of it. Now, I'm going to skip the Singer for a minute and go to the next one, the Mini, because the Mini and the little red one coming in now, the little red one is cherry red, and I'll get chewed at if I get it wrong. That is the nicest little Mini you'll ever find. Won many, many awards. It's absolutely as new. You can always tell the early Minis because of the painted grille. There was the Austin 7 Mini and the Morris Mini. Beautiful little car. The outside hinges, always a pain because when the bottom pin started to wear, the doors would drop. But they were a lovely car. Then they had the minivan and the mini pickup, which we've got here. A lovely mini pickup, and if you can find one these days, worth a lot of money. Owned by another one of them nutters for over at Ilkeston, the Ilson Crushers. Always love to see Mr. Smedley and his gang here this weekend. Slightly better than the Mini in a lot of people's opinion because a little bit wider. Held the road better, rear-engined, a lovely car. And then they made the upmarket version, so we had to give it a posh name, didn't we? So we called it the Singer Chamois, and this is what my good mate Mick's got now. A lot of people who couldn't necessarily afford top-range sports cars, or just wanted something different, decided to go into the specialist car market, the kit car market. If you couldn't afford a Morgan, well, they weren't kit cars, of course. They was trying to start that AJS, but he must have started it because he's got this 1964 Rover. Now, if ever a name has been maligned more than Rover, I've yet to find it, because Rover were absolutely superb. Going back way into the 36, didn't they? The Rover 2000, the P5, which was the beautiful 3-litre coupe. Anybody watch George Gently? That's the 3-litre coupe. Thank you very much, Malcolm. I'll give you one promise, though, a definite promise. I ain't helping you to push this thing out. Go on, get out. Right, guys, John, if you can lead the front row out, we'll go on to the back row.
car was such an example of the vehicles that would have been used in death cars. It is a Ford Zephyr 6 Mark III. This vehicle was introduced into traffic in 1962 and became a popular choice. The speed of the vehicle was inherently too short to catch up with various people. As I say, the Zephyr was used on the motorways in mines and found itself at Barney Burners Road. The vehicle itself has got a 2.6 metre straight 6 inch. It was known as the RC11 This particular one is from the year 1970, and much like its current sort of Max cars, it still retains the jewels today. It certainly has a place in our hearts, even though it might have been installed there. And again, any more information you want to know about this car, do come down and have a bit of a chat for us. Now our vehicle is going to do a quick lap of the circuit before we introduce the final car. The final car is an unusual one. Okay, as we draw into the late 1980s and 1990s, more and more manufacturers want to introduce their cars. This final one being Jaguar. By the early 1980s, the customers faced on the marquee with a very more luxury cars rather than the sports cars. And so Jaguar, realising that, you know, reigning of managers was starting to become a bit of an eventuality, Jaguar attempted to enter into the fleet scheme and develop two cars. One of those being the S-Type is the one that you're seeing going around now. These vehicles were sent to, I reckon, about 25 out of 40 police forces. And the two cars were produced in the two different liveries. The name what we call Battenberg scheme, which is the colour scheme you're seeing on parade right now, and the other one in Jaguar's unique police car livery. Now this particular vehicle had been used in such big party events such as the Conservative Party conference in Borne. Now in late January 2000 the car was trialled in the VI region driving school. Now being used for the night vehicle training on the advanced car course, there was a story of the vehicle actually leaving the road near Crickendale and ended up in a field in Crickendale, Swindon, and it caused around about £2,000 worth of damage. Much repair work needed to be put back on the road. The result of that was the car needed a brand new gearbox due to vibration, and that occurred when the car was just shy of 50,000 miles. Now the car was eventually sold to the Jaguar Heritage Trust in 2001, and it has since then been to a couple more owners before it came through to us. And we've had this vehicle for the sort of speed that these guys could achieve, certainly when in a pursuit situation. So in a moment you'll see our wonderful traffic officer with his white gloves signal to the cars that they are now to marshal in a straight line. As our wonderful WPCs and WPCs make their way towards the cars, we're now going to see the Jaguar in full flight. Let's pull it that way. So as the Jaguar speeds round, he may do one more lap and then he'll be marking up with the rest of our guys here, and our excellent traffic officer will signal in him to complete the lineup.
for the Panda cars. I don't know. Well, anyway, in a few minutes, I'm hoping Mr. Jacobs. It's funny with a name like Jacobs, he's always known as the black sheep of the family. But Mr. Jacobs will be in a few minutes with more steam, so there's going to be a lot more going off in the arena. So I'm going to hand over to Pete. Okay, Pete, you had a good weekend?
Yes, Dave, thank you very much. Yeah, I think you've done a good job with there, and you know, I think the missus wants you to go and walk around now.
No, she wants to spend money.
Well, there you are. We have Alex Baker's Evelyn and Porter steamroller. A later example, this one went new to Clacton Urban District Council. Worked for them for many years. It came into preservation in Lincolnshire. Never really restored out there. It passed on to the ownership of Ted Ainsworth, who lived near to Chesterfield. Ted passed away sadly before the restoration was finished. That was finished off by Ian and Claire Brackenbury. It's now with Alex Baker from Ripley in Derbyshire. Just coming in front of me now is Morning Star, a Fowler roller that was on with Dumfries Council. Some years back, this one, in preservation years, made the journey back to Dumfries to meet its old driver. Garrett steam tractor, David Bosworth. This one went new to Sadler Brothers of Stourbridge in the West Midlands. Then it's been used by Cliff James at Kings Winsford in Staffordshire. Then it passed to a gentleman called Alan Tingey, who gave it the name of Anchor. Alan lived at the station house at Shackeston in Warwickshire. It's been lovingly restored since Alan passed away by David Bosworth. English Princess, Evelyn and Porter tractor. If you came here last year, just hold on a second, please. Right, English Princess. If you came here last year, you would have seen that it was a non-steamer. It's been fitted with a set of boiler tubes, given a boiler certificate. It's owned by the Bates and Jacobs family. 8030 is the number. It has stood in a shed for 40 years at the premises of John Woodward. He rallied it for 2 or 3 years, but then it stood with the shed collapsing all around it. Right, now we have Evelyn and Porter 1909, works number 6781, owned by James Allinson from Wixhall in Shropshire. This one was new to the Public Works Department in Buenos Aires. It returned to England to a gentleman owner in London in 2004, and it's been rebuilt by James over the last few years since 2020. Just coming by me now is an Evelyn and Porter GND type tractor. 9435 is the maker's number. This one has the name of Nessie. It went new to A.M. Carmichael of Dunblane in Scotland, and it was used near Loch Ness on a road making exercise in 1931. and sadly it finished up in Loch Ness. It was recovered in 1990 by Mr. D. Crapper from actually out of Loch Ness. So some of the lengths these engines go to be restored is unbelievable when you think that one has stood in Loch Ness for years and years. Edison plant on the canopy of this Avon and Barford steamroller. This one was built as late as 1943. It went new to Baines and Company of Potton in Bedfordshire. It actually finished its life after work in the Royal Liverpool Children's Hospital ground, where it was painted with all faces on it. It was rescued for preservation by a gentleman called Phil Halliwell from North Derbyshire, and then it passed into Leicestershire, where it just got took apart and never put back together. Where it was based, Vernon coming by, there's 3 counties threshing company on the canopy top. This is a Ransom Simpson Jeffries engine. Ransom's built their engine in Ipswich at the Orwell Works. This one's built as late as 1932. It's got a large boiler on it, and we seem to think that it was a spare boiler from Ransom's work. 42035 is the making number, so one in 1932, one of the last ones they built. This one went to Reynolds of Alford in Norfolk, hence the NG on the registration plate. It came into preservation with a Leicestershire man called John Vernon, who lived at Church Farm in New Bolford in northwest Leicestershire. It's had 1 or 2 owners since then. John Vernon's son Mike had to sell the engine. It passed into Ireland, it came back to Gloucestershire, and now it's at Chris Hutton from Fullow in Derbyshire. So that's the one called Vernon, which is just gone by the commentary point. Mick Hammond's single cylinder ploughing engine built by Fowlers in 1874. This was one of a set that was actually run by Beebe Brothers of Brenston. It's been in the Hammond family since 1947, so it should be, I think, about 150 years old next year. Yeah, right. Avon and Porter steamroller, owned by Philip Bates. This one worked for Bishop Stortford Rural District Council in Hertfordshire. It's one of those engines that were used by the famous firm of Taylor Brothers from Wimbish in Essex. It's a frequent attender at steam engine rallies up and down the East Midlands. That's Philip Bates's Avon and Porter steamroller. That's followed by Richard Greenwood from Barton under Needwood with a Marshall traction engine that was built in 1911. This one went new to Ruffin in Wales. Was used there at an agricultural college. It was first preserved in what we now call the West Midlands, Shropshire, etc. Before it passed into Kent. It's been in the ownership of the current owner since around 2005. That's the Marshall traction engine, built in Gainsborough in 1911. Right now, what I've just been instructed is that we are going to do, for a small donation, if you want to steer a steam engine, we're going to finish off the afternoon's entertainment in the arena with that. So if you want to form a queue at somewhere, I've just seen Nick somewhere. Nick's the man with the bucket and the orange jacket on, so if you'd like to form a queue there, for a small donation, which will go to the air ambulance, you can steer a steam engine. Yeah. So just form a queue somewhere near the edge of the arena and Nick will sort you out. Yeah, so we've got a lovely selection of steam engines. Well done to... Let's give all these people a round of applause for bringing their engines to Elvaston Castle Steam Rally. Well done, gents. Good display. Well done. Are you alright? Good, good. Alex Baker's aiming the porter roller. Yeah, if you want to steer a steam engine, just pop round. Nick's waving his arms about like a windmill. Nick's windmill, they call it. Chris Hutton's Evelyn and Ransom Simpson Jeffries traction engine. John Vernon, who owned it in Leicestershire, was a very good engineer. He actually fitted a third speed to the engine. That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yes, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. So here we go, if you want to steer a steam engine for a small donation to the air ambulance. We've got one or two that's stopping in to do it, so